So Joe, thanks for your time. The Joe Mitchell story. Tell us how you've finished up taking a role such as this.
I actually started my career as a swimmer, with nothing to do with the arts whatsoever. But I always had an interest in the arts. I had a really influential drama teacher in school, and I knew that swimming was a very short-lived career. And so I went to university, studied, actually majored in journalism, thinking that there was no such thing as a job in the arts. And so I did my major in journalism, and I did a double degree doing theatre just because I loved it. And then so be it. Turns out that there is a career in the arts, and I did my postgraduate as a theatre director, and was a theatre director at Queensland Theatre Company, and then moved from there into arts festivals. And I think the biggest step for me in terms of arts festivals was that I was at Brisbane Festival, followed by Toronto's International Arts Festivals, and I was looking for a festival that was actually a real point of difference to all of the other major festivals, and I was aware of OzAsia Festival, and of course it's the only festival in Australia that really exclusively focuses on Asia, and I thought that that's a real strong point of difference to a lot of the other festivals. And I thought as a young festival director, I really want to take on something that is unique and can stand for something that no one else is doing, and that's what brought me here.
And based on that, what are your perceptions of the significance of the OzAsia Festival as an Australian cultural festival and within Asia?
Well, look, it's Australia's only major international arts festival focusing on Asia, and in fact, I would, from a lot of my research, it's one of the biggest festivals in the world that focuses on Asia. There are a lot of other significant festivals up in the Asian region, but still with very much that international arts focus. And there are some very small festivals in Europe that primarily focus in areas on literature, visual arts, and only a tiny bit of the performing arts from Asia. So OzAsia Festival really is a world leader in terms of what we do, and there's actually not really any other festival in the world that you can go to where across a period as small as 3 or 4 days you can see major contemporary performances from Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, India, Japan and Indonesia, all across a short burst of time. So it's a real go-to place for not only audiences in Australia but industry around the world to see the best of contemporary Asia.
Jacinta Thompson, your predecessor, has done a great job building up this festival over the last few years. What's your vision for it for the next few years? Where are you hoping to take it?
I think the roots of OzAsia Festival very much introduced a broader variety of programming from the Asian region into Australian stages, and that happened extremely successfully through the first 8 years of the festival. And so coming in as the new director, I really had to say, what is next? I think the idea of having that role of an artistic director is to always think about what has been done, what are the next steps, what's the next vision for the festival. And for me it's really about now that we have a lot more diversity on stage across all of Australia, and there's been stronger links developed between Australia and Asian engagement sector-wide across the country. I really wanted to think, what is OzAsia Festival going to do next as the leader in this field? And for me, that was very much about now bringing in the contemporary component of Asia to Australian audiences.
Indonesia is this year's focus.
Yep.
Tell us about the connection there and its program that you've brought.
So this will be the largest ever showcase of Indonesian performing arts ever presented in Australia. Across the opening weekend, we have over 100 artists from Indonesia, and we have over 20 different events that are from Indonesia or engage with Indonesia. So it's a very significant amount. Some of the iconic works that I'm really proud to present this year include Theatre Geraci's The Streets, which is a highly influential theatre dance production from a company called Theatre Geraci based in Yogyakarta, who have created this wonderful exploration of who is Indonesia as a new democracy since 1998, and this very immersive dance theatre production really explores ideas of city life versus rural life, wealth versus poverty, class perceptions among people, internationalisation, and the struggle of the worker. So there's a lot of things going on as Indonesia questions where it's placed as a new democracy after the new order, and I think this is a fantastic work.
Attending your launch, there seems to be a greater emphasis on younger patrons or a younger focus. Tell us about that shift in focus.
Yes. Look, I think that it's very important for any performing arts organisation to be very focused on young audiences as well as established audiences. I was fortunate enough to start as the director of the education program at Queensland Theatre Company, and I really experienced firsthand how important it is to really make sure that young audiences feel welcome into theatre spaces and establish a direct connection. So again, with that background, I really wanted to look at our established audiences and provide windows of opportunities for new audiences to come in and engage with the arts at the same time. You know, sometimes when I go to major arts festivals, including Adelaide Festival or festivals overseas, I'll see these really cutting edge, bright, fun, experimental works, you know, with a very established audience who have been going to the theatre for 30 or 40 years, and I think that's great. And I think actually these artists are missing the next audience, and it's not necessarily the artists themselves that have missed that, and it's not the established audiences that should be missing out. You just need to make that extra effort in your marketing, your publicity, and make young audiences feel welcome. So we've tried to reflect that in the program a little bit this year as well.
The Moon Lantern Festival in recent years has had a lack of luck when it comes to the elements.
Yes.
This year you promised it's going to happen come wind, rain or hail.
Yes.
How are you going to achieve that?
Well, we've got a couple of measures in place, and look, anytime you're on an outdoor event, things can go sideways due to uncontrollable circumstances and Mother Nature. This year, we have a couple of contingencies in place in the event of some wind and some rain, and mainly what that is we've brought the design closer to the ground so that if there's a heavy wind coming down the Torrens, we're not as susceptible to ceasing work and getting the event up, because we can actually anchor quite a lot of the event closer to the ground, and we've removed the large stage and made it more of an immersive community environment which people can walk through and explore, so we can get it in quicker and it can hold up to a little bit more wind.
And finally, as director, the 3 shows that the people would die to go and see?
Yes. Miss Revolutionary, Idol Berserker. It completely changes anyone's perspective of contemporary Japanese culture. You need to wear a raincoat for protection. You get taken into a secret performance studio that we've made for this event, and there's only 100 people in the audience and 25 performers on stage. The whole show is only 45 minutes long, and don't wear your best dress. Don't wear an expensive jacket, and just be prepared to be overwhelmed with an array of pop culture, dance, multimedia, glitter, water, seaweed, tofu, anything that you can imagine, and don't be afraid. But the artist will get up close with the audience at the same time. It's a real different experience, and I think some people will love it, some people won't like it, and that's what you're meant to do when you put on a festival. The other 2 shows I really want to mention are Amber by Meng Jingwei, probably the most influential contemporary theatre director from China. He's got this great 2-hour theatrical love story about young people in China, and I think it's really it's really leading the way in terms of new writing across the world, and it's great to see that on stage. And finally, Play by Sidi Labi Chikawi, and Labi is one of the most famous choreographers in the world. In fact, I think he's won Choreographer of the Year 3 times in the last decade. Just recently he was the choreographer of Benedict Cumberbatch in the famous Hamlet production, and of course he also choreographed all of the movement in the recent Anna Karenina film by Joe Wright. He's a stunning choreographer, and it's actually not often you get to see him on stage as a dancer, and in this piece you will see him as the dancer and choreographer, so it's a real treat for Adelaide audiences to see him.
Well, it sounds a very good program, and your enthusiasm is totally infectious, and I hope it all goes well. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Peter.